cannot just say that somebody is accused of something, therefore we act. We have to give people the benefit of the doubt. They are entitled to respond. They are entitled to their side of the story. That's what we all cried for. And this can happen to any one of us. We can be a victim of any allegation. Are we saying once somebody is accused, the person is not entitled to defend himself or respond or reply? So the censure that is recommended in the resolution, if Parliament wants, it's an independent organ of government. They can initiate the censure process against the said ministers. So, but the resolution, I think most of the press statement that was read here today is in response to some of the key contents of some of those resolutions, which you said you will respond to, isn't it? So this dialogue can continue and it can go on further. There's 3 issues I took. What was the third issue? Of course, any law is amended. Nobody is disputing that. But you raise human rights. We need to get things right. If we have to dialogue honestly. The ECOWAS Community Court of Justice tested our public order act against the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which is the African standard of our human rights charter. You know about that judgment?
Yes, I know.
You read it?
Yes, I read it.
So.
However, you see, that is the thing with the court. I'm not a lawyer, but that's the thing with the court. The court may make a judgment based on certain principles and evidence. That doesn't deny the fact that human rights, protest, or peaceful assembly is a fundamental human right. So any other law or bylaw must not be used to censor it. That's where the conversation should be. Party laws aside, Honorable, let's just see that it should be, let's amend the Public Order Act.
Like I said,
let the dialogue start from there.
All right, that's fine. Government is willing to talk about this. Anything that can be dialogue. Nothing is off the table. As long as we are talking, we can talk. How do we even amend it? What do we amend it? What do we agree to disagree? These things can form part of the dialogue. Nobody is saying it cannot be discussed. But if we have to discuss, we have to discuss from a frank point of view. You cannot tell me something is illegal that I know is not illegal. And I agree just because I want to dialogue with you. All right then.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I said, let's be considerate. Again, as we said, Honorable Minister said, Audi altering party. We want to promote that principle of quality before the law and fair hearing. Your name and media organization, you are blocking those cameras.
I'm Clement Sane, working for Korea newspaper and also for Flex News. My question will be a follow-up to the Minister in regards to the Public Order Act. Your predecessor, Minister Tambedo, has tabled this bill before the National Assembly to repeal the Public Order Act. It was withdrawn from the Parliament. Up to today, the public didn't know what was the rationale behind the withdrawal of the repeal of the Public Order Act, and you need to tell the public because this has been a concern. And the follow-up question is regarding about the issue of the AKI victims. Government has a responsibility to protect lives and properties of the Gambian citizens, and once life is lost, then there is a criminal element in people failing in their responsibility. Why did the government wait for the victims' families to pick up the matter when government could have protected their citizens by instituting the criminal charges against anybody who was found wanting about the AKI victims, rather than just suspending or expelling medical pharmaceutical council, I don't know, their director, rather than actually taking a legal action for his negligence or whatever?
I don't know the reason for the withdrawal of the bill to repeal the Public Order Act. I'm afraid probably I can find that because nobody have ever briefed me the reason for the withdrawal, so I couldn't speak to that. AKI, like I said, a process was going on. But people have the right to go to court anytime they feel like. Probably they think government process is slow. And that we are not embarrassed to admit to that. Government processes, even in the developed world, sometimes can be painstaking. This is a hard fact. Governments don't operate like a private company. So many things have to go through so many processes. And sometimes it's true. Not only even AKI victims, even the victims of Jammeh. The transitional justice, some believe that is going very slow. But we are doing what we can do and our best under the circumstances. And I wish any one of you will be sitting on the chair that I'm sitting. You will face the same challenges, right? So sometimes we wish things to happen, but we cannot get them to happen at the pace at which we want it. And because of processes, because government have a design system, have processes, have laws, have a lot of regulations that need to be followed, and some of these things, some don't happen the way overnight. So processes were underway, like I said. There were even negotiations that started. I can even go to an extent to tell you there was a budget line to start compensating the victims. But they declined the offer that was made by government, and they choose to claim higher amounts in court. Once they go to court, we are now bound to go with them to court and wait and see the outcome of the court. We couldn't do much. But we continue with our other bilateral engagement, trying to engage the government of India, try to see how we get in touch with the company that is actually the company that manufactured these drugs until they found their way into the Gambia. So government is relentless. No government will lose kids, babies, and be complicit in the way you address that issue. Really. But like I tell you, this is the situation. We were doing what we can, but in the meantime, we were served with a suit from the court. What do we have? We have no choice but to go to court and start defending the suit that we were served with. But there was a budget already allocated for compensation. But what we offered, they didn't accept it. They didn't even accept a part payment. So what else can you do?
How much was it? It's important.
Now, on top of my head, I cannot remember. That budget is with the Ministry of Health, not me. But Ministry of Health have informed me as the government lawyer that we have this much amount. Because I am the one that was talking to their lawyers, they've instructed me to negotiate. If I agree with them, Ministry of Health had a budget they are willing to pay. But in our negotiation with their lawyers, the gap was so high, so we couldn't agree. The next minute we were served.
Thank you. Yeah. Can always order? What's on the line? Okay. Yeah, lady.
Because the recommendation from the National Assembly does not call for an investigation, but immediate suspension. Thank you.
I think this is the clarification we are trying to make. A resolution from the National Assembly to an executive. These are different organs of government. It's still a recommendation. And that recommendation needs to be investigated because these people have a contract. So you need to do further investigation and check and decide what is the best course of action. We need to understand. You see, if we want to be in civil society and we want to be advocates, we need to understand the relationship between organs of state. National Assembly does not necessarily dictate to the executive. When they pass a resolution and ask government to do something, its equivalent in law is a recommendation. Now, government need to look into that investigation and look at the evidence that National Assembly relied on to recommend that somebody should be sacked or somebody should be punished. So those investigations, I don't know, but those investigations were going on as far as I am aware. But from the legal point of view, I just want to clarify that it's not every recommendation from the National Assembly to the executive can be acted upon without further check. Because the recommendation is not law. This is one organ of state sending recommendation to another organ of state. It's not a court judgment.
So let's be clear. Besides the legal consideration, the charge against the general manager, GAM Petroleum, Mr. GALA, was that he was unfairly allocating storage space. We call it ullage, right? Now, to that extent of unfair treatment in the allocation of ullage, then that was the basis for the recommendation. Now, but the investigation and the substantive evidence that supports it was also quite weak because the statement have clearly addressed that to say at the time of allegation of unfair treatment, actually there was ample space on the, in the depot. About half of the space of the depot was occupied. Now, if that is the case, why also not make similar recommendation to the other private storage facility, where some of this oil also found its way anyway? So you said that you were this was unfair allocation of space, but these people were I mean at the time literally all OMC were boycotting the space. They were not going there. And that even when this gentleman was the one who initiated and made engagement to attract even half of the space then get occupied through his time. So he was desperately looking for people to come and patronize his space. But like I said, it's a recommendation, and like the Attorney General have said, not all recommendations are binding. But the state have responsibility to look into it, and on the benefit of the merit, then address it.
Let me clarify one thing. If you just 1 second, let me clarify something. If you look at the schedule of the National Assembly for this September session, which has been published, some of those recommendations, they have listed the ministers concerned to come and respond. Because in their own standing orders, when they make such resolutions, whoever has been advancedly mentioned in those resolutions, you are entitled to respond. All right? So if you look at the September session, in their schedules, ministers have been listed to come and respond to some of those resolutions that were made. That shows that even after the resolution, National Assembly itself knows that there is room that the person that has been advancedly mentioned could make a reply, and based on that reply, in fact, their position could change. So you don't expect that once a resolution is passed, it will be implemented. Some of these resolutions need further investigation, whether the allegations are substantiated or not.
No. Next question, please.
National Assembly recommended that because he was giving out depot spaces.
No, that's not me. I don't know about that.
Okay, next question.
Also, I think she was receiving 600,000 every month from
Is it done or you're done? No?
Was that stated in the report? Was that stated in the report? Did you read the report? No, it's not there.
All right, next question. Next question. Your name and media organization, the guy there? Yeah, so, which one? No, we have to balance, that side, and then we go back to the other. We have to balance both sides. I shall give you mic, and then we go to the other side. We have to balance, Let's be considerate. One question to other colleagues. It's very crowded today. We have full house today. Remember, go ahead, your name and media organization and question.
Thank you very much. My name is Momodu Jani from the KMC Community Radio. I will start from the Minister of Finance. He made mention that the government is ready and committed to having dialogue with young people. But my question will go to the Attorney General, Minister of Justice. We are having 38 young people.
So wait. You said where are you from?
KMC Community Radio.
Is it a registered radio station?
Register. We have to have questions based on today's.
That question.
No, I'm asking, is it a registered community radio?
Well, you should help us with that.
I should help.
Okay, next question.
So my question.
So wait, before you ask your, let's clarify this first. If it's online, you can call it KMC online radio.
KMC online radio. So my question will go to the Minister of Justice, even though I will pick from the Minister of Finance, saying the government is committed to having dialogue with young people before they resort to the streets, which is commendable. So I want to ask the Justice Minister, because currently we have about 38 young people. 23 have been granted bail from the court, and the other 15 from under the police. Is the government ready to drop all the charges levied against these young people, to have a dialogue with them in order to complement the efforts of the government?
Where were you? That was
The question was answered by the Chief of Staff. Honorable Chief of Staff answered the question. Okay, next to the other side. Your name on it. It's already been answered by the Honorable Chief of Staff. Okay, okay. Give chance to the other one. Let's maintain some decorum now, please. I know one or two aberrations are inevitable, but let's go ahead. Go ahead. The guy holding the mic. Go ahead. Ask the question. No, it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead. Ask the. Answer. Ask your question. He's on the bail. He has to check his bail conditions.
It's all right. I mean, let him stay. Where is he? Don't take him out. Let him stay. We just need to talk to each other as brothers, no temper. What we told the questionnaire, maybe we were not speaking the mic, is the question was answered before.
No, he said he cannot answer the question. The Justice Minister will come and step in and answer. That's what he said.
No. I was here when the question was answered. Myself, I was in the room. When I just came in, I was sitting over there. And he answered. But anyway, what's your question? Repeat it.
I am saying
Yes.
we have about 38 young people
Yes.
currently
Yes.
who are pertinent with the law.
Yes.
23 that have been granted bail from the court and other 15 from the police. Whether the government is ready to drop all the charges, levied on these young people in order to have a dialogue in complementing the efforts of the government.
Why not? It's on the table. Nothing is off the table. Let's just continue dialogue. Yep. I answered you. I said there is no reason why we should not.
Can I come in?
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum. maa ngi tudd Modou Lamine Diouf. maa ngi liggéeyal Victor FM radio. ci state ministre bi bëggoon naa laajte di nga doon wax taxawaay réewi Gambia ci àdduna si ak niñ ko xoolee ci ñëwee ci wàllu guerre corruption ak yooyu kookaat bi. wax nga mention nga ranking bi nga xamante ne Gambia am na ko. waaye suñ ñëwaatee ci biir réew mi góom-góom bu ñenn ci réew mi am mooy nguur bi dafa doon nguur boo xamante ne dafa jàppante ak corruption audit report yi ngay génn jaane commission bi xale na liggéeyam xale ni bi ñu koo gëstuwaat di ko dañ yaakaar ne xale li jàmbe dafa dañ ko séedoo bokk ci diggante niti nguur ñi tey naka nga mën a reconcile ranking bi ak global level ak perception bi back home so loolu moo def ma laa jërëjëf.
jërëjëf si question boobu liñ mën a wax rek mooy ne corruption is not absolutely measured perception ngay natta perception yi dëkk bi ak perception yi ñoo xam ne that is done by an organization called Transparency International so ñoom seen sarta yi ñoo xool pour identify lanay corruption ak the local context daf dee ute soo gisee ñu bare ñu ngi wax ne affaire corruption léegi is rampant is because government is actively disclosing this information. Most of these corruption cases are not immediate. They are past events. So I think that is, and having such a discourse, warning that the government is ready. And there is no corrupt-free country that I know of. It's just the magnitude and the degree. And this level of dialogue is important. So Transparency International, loolu la aduna bi yépp ràññee si measurement of corruption. National perception def dee ute ak international, so you cannot marry the two. They are like apple and oranges. All right? I hope I answered. Thank you.
Thank you. You have about 20 minutes to wrap up. Questions? And gender balance, you have one or two more questions? Okay. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Name, media organization.
My name is Nelson Mania from Korea Newspaper. I have three questions that I want to ask. The first one has to do with the medical lab. We want to know the exact state of the medical lab and when will it start functioning. The second one has to do with the SOEs, the state-owned enterprise. There is an ongoing trend that the SOEs are now being privatized, and the most recent one is Gamcell. Gamcell, in an interview, said the government is not spending on it, and that is why when most of the GSM operators were having 4, 5Gs, they were still in 2G. And this has made them to have more expenditure than the income they generated. We want to know what is the government's stake, why is the trend going that way, that the SOEs, the state-owned enterprises, are now being privatized.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we need to have a good foundation. Privatization is different from a concession. They may sound technical, but privatization means government selling its shares, its ownership rights. It's different from, like people claim, we have privatized the port. The port has not been privatized. The concession is a partnership between a government and a private operator to do a certain activity. The ownership rights of Gambia Port Authority has not been diluted. The concession partner in the government, in the port's concession, has no shareholder rights in the Gambia Ports Authority. All the rights are within the concession to manage the ports and invest in the deep sea port of Sanyang for a period of time. Immediately that period lapses, the asset will reflow back to the state. Ownership has not changed. And the issue of Gamtel's performance. Gamtel, is a limited liability company owned and managed independently. We all know if you are like an adult, it's just like a case of a child in a house. Your father or your parents schooled you, put you in a job market, educate you. You say, but now I cannot find a job as such. What do I do? You should have helped me. The management of any public enterprise has unfettered access to raise resources, to invest, to manage. Failure to do so, do you expect government to, because that's the difference. You cannot take public resources and put it to SOEs for their continued survival. The management and the board of the SOEs should go to the market, raise resources, and invest for their continuity. That's what their private sector counterparts have done. They did not sit down and say, our shareholders have given us this much, the market is changing, and what do we do? They have gone to the market, borrow, invest, and grow, or do other management efforts to further their objectives. So if a state-owned enterprise has operational issues, they are independent. It is for them, in fact, as we speak, it's a very funny situation. Because in the same sector, you are operating, your competition is operating. All the Gamcel or Gamtel is the lead, is the backbone of the digital system in the country. How come the private sector are able to be more efficient? And they are free to do as they deem. There was no government, of course, legacy issues are there, but under this current dispensation, I'm not aware of government interference. Instead, in fact, government has facilitated certain things by even trying to borrow. For some of them, the loans government have taken for their expansion, like Gamtel, the Eco One. Government today, as we speak, is financing those loans. That's the whole fact. If, for example, you have contracted a loan, you are a limited liability company, you are a state-owned enterprise, you should be able to finance it. Part of the debt stock of government is not the direct borrowing of the government alone. Because government was the guarantor, if they did not pay, government is coming in to pay. The Eco One is not serviced by a butut, by any of the Gamtel. It is the government of the Gambia that is adding it to its debt stock and servicing the debt. So I hope I'm clear on this. And we are more than happy. The concession arrangement, we are not privatizing. And as we speak today, the net worth of Gamtel is not an asset, it's a liability. The liabilities exceed the asset base. I can safely say that for Gamcel particularly, for 3 months in a row, we were taking from our public purse to pay their staff. It was that bad. So government, these are all management arrangement, concessions government is doing to help bring about efficiency. We all know the Port Authority is a case in point. If you look at the congestion that was happening there before this concession, ships, any container bound for Banjul has an automatic congestion charge. Ships were bathing at sea for more than 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. In fact, that's why shipments to Gambia used to take months. But with the concession coming on board, there is no waiting time at the port of Banjul. And that's why it has even started reflecting in the price of goods. I'm sure we all notice how much a bag of rice is. It has not gone down a lot, but it has gone down. It's not even going up. All this, yes, we know. No, it depends on the quality of rice. No, I bought too. I am in the country. I'm just explaining the price of goods have not gone up that much. If you buy an American rice, that one is what everybody buys, including myself. I went to the market, and this is not a make-up story. And I asked, at the turntable, as he says, it's 2,070. I said, but the last time it was 2,200. What has happened? He said, no, what, never one. This is a transaction I conducted myself. At the turntable, there is a sub there. I'm just speaking from my own experience. I'm not making it up. Yes, so these are facts. All of these, and that's not the only one. There are a lot of other efficiency gains the concession is bringing in. So I hope I'm clear on that. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Quickly on the medical lab, I read from the ministry. Medical lab is almost ready. Most of the equipment. You know where the medical lab is, by the way? Brusuwe. How is it? It's good. It's nice, huh? Wonderful.
You should go for a visit. Contact the Ministry of Health.
Medical lab is almost ready. Most of the equipment is purchased and in country. For early next year, the lab will be in use and operational. Closing date for the current contract is December 31st.
Thank you so much, Chief. You understand? We have 10 more minutes to go. Everybody talk about bag of rice. We are mono drinkers. I think our price is fine. We are fine with porridge. One or two more questions. From this end and from this end?
From this end.
All right. I also have the mic.
Okay. My name is Nani Sise. I work with the Gambia Journal. The Honorable Justice Minister has been saying that the National Assembly resolution or recommendation is not binding. But what the minister is not telling us is whether the government is investigating these ministers. Is the government investigating these ministers based on the recommendation or resolution from the National Assembly? And second question is, the AKI victims. We all know this government, they barely, obey the court orders. I can give you example of Alhaji Bora's case, Leila Filagone's case, and also Omar Lamis's case. The government, the courts made orders, but the government is still insisting, in fact, refusing to actually, accept court orders. Is the government ready to pay these victims the amount or the cost that is going to be awarded against the government? Because you people have been in negotiation with the families, but no actual agreement has been made. Is the government ready to pay the victims the actual amount awarded against the government? Thank you.
Nothing has been awarded. Okay, let's wait for the... Okay, so you are asking if they prevail in the court, whether we will honor the judgment. Yes, government is committed to honor all judgments entered against it that has not been appealed and set aside. But, however, again, like I said, from outside you may not understand, and that's why these dialogues are important. We have a queue of judgments to settle. We have a queue of judgments. Now, I'm telling you, I'm being very real. So judgments are paid based on how they come. Because these things are budgeted. I mean, National Assembly, you can talk to them. There are budget lines on the Ministry of Finance for settlement of judgments that are entered against the government. You can have judgments locally, you can have judgments sometimes even in international arbitration courts and things like that. So they are paid as they come, depending on how the budget can sustain them. So, but there is no deliberate, in fact, if you check with the ECOWAS Community Court, let me just say that Gambia is on the top of the countries in the whole of ECOWAS region for honoring judgments, monetary judgments awarded by the ECOWAS Community Court. And these are paid to Gambians. Gambians who took the Gambia government to the ECOWAS Community Court Of course, most of the issues they took the government to court for are Jammeh-related human rights violations. But when they prevail, we pay them, and we still pay. So when you have a subsisting valid judgment, monetary, government will pay. It's coming from all of our money, all of us. It's the taxpayers' money. So if your judgment is valid and is monetary, one day you will get your money. So, but with AKI, that's your question specific to that. Of course, yes. The reason why we are in court, if they prevail, we will respect the judgment.
The other side?
Yes. Follow up to that? Yeah, why not?
Name and media organization?
As one state that
compliance with their judgments.
Is that compliance to ECOWAS court judgment?
That's what I'm saying. ECOWAS community court judgments.
We're talking about our courts.
That's what I'm telling you.
No, we are talking about our courts, not what ECOWAS court give us, because you don't have a choice with the ECOWAS court. It's either you pay or you pay your fees and they will move it from it. We are saying our local court judgment.
Okay.
Our local court judgment. Are we respecting the judgment and the fighting and paying? Because Pamolu is an example, and a lot more examples. That's what we are talking about. We're not talking about the ECOWAS judge. Let's localize the compensation now.
So, with Pamodu's case, do you know that it has been appealed? There was instruction to have the matter appealed, so we need to check that. Well, what I'm saying, you are right. There's a distinction between domestic court judgments and ECOWAS court judgment. But you are wrong in saying that we don't have an option with ECOWAS court. In fact, enforcement of the ECOWAS court judgment on a sovereign country is even more difficult. Because if we don't pay, there's nothing they can do. Enforcing a judgment against a sovereign state is even more difficult than the domestic ones. So it's not that we are compliant with payment of ECOWAS court judgment because we don't have an option. No. It's the character of this government I'm trying to show, that we are willing and ready to comply with valid court judgments, domestically or internationally. And we've already made a record at the international stage, and we are doing our best to comply with almost all the domestic court judgments.
This way.
Time is up.
Yeah.
What was it? Yes. That is what is leading to all this dialogue. In our preparation of this statement that was delivered by the Honorable Minister for Finance, we looked at every single allegation contained in that resolution. Well, like I told you, we go through them, look at the evidence that the National Assembly had access to, and their conclusions vis-a-vis what is the order of evidence that they might not even have seen. So yes, government is looking into it. Sure. We don't just say it's a recommendation, so we put it aside. No.
So if they are found wanted?
Naturally, this government, President Barrow had made a statement that there's not going to be he's not going to be anybody's godfather with respect to these issues.
Thank you.
Yes. Your name, media organization?
nañu kar polo ba telementi wala minister of finance biraba lori jang ay tan jere ko game masakunda ni indiana masakunda ka ka so ka pour kale iba case file la nyame ni badene mile buru na nyande e mile buru ni da so man factor so ala ko development ni be nyade because case ni ke da tabu ko ni ari e ka fanya justice delay is justice delay three years halta ke so mambo jaba do la ko ko alim fana corruption wala issue ngajal fana audit case I made that before me. I be the accountability wala ko tiboro karon ko moy mi nyaji ke dismiss le ye dimo wara to prosecute do di for sure de time but in be reactive measures that adu masakunda e katama baake min wala proactive measures so mbal la flakalo ko mi simpana le be pour ka de corruption wala ko although ita eradicate but ka mi de kende pour ala ko ci kala ka to mi le demand be ka fili banko ka you cannot afford money soron do mandi president yi pare one to you know can be shown yes sentence but as a prevent no can
I should explain in Mandinka or English? Yeah. Okay. Ila nyini karo kumata bake. In fact, nyine famu na malam bebe famu. Nyine famu na nyantoti because nga menjube masakunda malafi drong puru ala banku dingol sibla katako because hadamadi mantimba so wala nanga fero landi ka falendiro ke masakunda la nafulo tamande nyato non do ni tata immigration passeport e ka kodo jo kasialera bisa wote kere ni dara ka jo bankle ni dara lands ka jo bankle ni dara RVTH nunto kasial le beje ka kodo collect sa en bankle beje so lafta menke la wala nyindi ko follow ni lafta kay ila banko dingol tanka ike tanka katale follow wala nyindi yela do ko bundal fali nyala me alonko mol bulote tukla kodoma so masakunda la tamadre nya falenta wol bi ni dara GRA ici la clearance beke e may singolo ports e may singolo GRA eni custom officer man nyoji na pareta system way assess yeta banque yajo wolbe le beje pour ka mol makoy kam masakunda makoy ka tamadre nya fali masanu nala nafulo o mo kilinde fulanjango nunto nin kuwol kete kapin sayin buka so wala akere wato men nam bota kala man simo kije internal audit be ministerial beto auditor general fanala do ko ba tamanni kam anu nunto audit reportol kanale yetara palri ku buka keje bar sayin men kake audit report be fundila ron besilo momorondi ni e to safije ngolle to safijante ko masakunda ka simfal bentaji kujamal funde raja manke ko molle ya fonde mtol fangol la do ku nya wole o fali wala no ko wol nata funti andun sayinga memuta and ko president ya fo nyame mote keri min sa fo ko abe tankandela ni e menje dron ibe tambela kitiyo nyakle on la loi même fo o loi tama so walante nangana hani public finance management ba falinkan be loi kutol samba kannan pour ka jeko masakunda la tamandirnya na folo la tamandirnya be fale isaje ko ni dara tuwa do neje tuwa bula corruption mansia ni dara tuwa do ini ma molka menke pour ka kodo tambini nyobula buka sia mfana la to sifa le dunni la jang so woldam mate kering anim fana audit be kerine fual be falinkan ani ni ajube digitalization. You understand it? So abole nyama. I hope. Yes. In English? Okay. Yes. All I'm trying to say, this is a very good question. Our objective to fight corruption is by building institutions and reforming processes and procedures of managing public finances. We have to protect our citizens because every human being is fragile, is amenable to make mistakes. Some of these cases, with hindsight, they could have been avoided. It was because of the way the systems were designed. Now we have now gone on to reform the entire government financial management system. In fact, I can safely say in the next few, if it is not already happening, a directive has been issued to eliminate all cashier positions. No longer will any public revenue transaction be handled by a cashier. Even if it is happening, know that it has not yet got there. But we want to ensure that every payment is online, if we get there, or you pay it to a bank, so as to prevent citizens from having the temptation. Because it's sometimes, let me give a simple example. You are collecting millions, and your salary is, let's say, 5,000, and you have financial problems. It's very human that every day you take one $10, or I'll fix it tomorrow, thinking that you can make it up. By the time you realize it, it has ballooned to a large amount. That's why we are changing our public financial management systems to ensure that people do not have access to public resources. Our procurement laws have been revised to ensure that procurement is further enhanced. And we did not just do this in isolation. We took a holistic review of public financial management system and vulnerabilities. This includes changing the procedures, changing the legal framework. That's why the public financial management is being changed. And we are very pleased, even if you look at the performance of the revenue collection, all is a reflection of the changes that are being put in place. And I can tell you, some of these changes are not easy to institute. The credit goes to the president himself, because in instituting some of these changes, they are so difficult that the people who are there right now will put up every resistance for it not to take place. But the president is unwavering. He said he has zero tolerance to corruption, and that's why he has instructed us to proactively deter and prevent corruption. The internal audit is working actively, the Auditor General reports, and all these things, like for example, we can pull out some of the cases. Some of them have been discovered at our own instigation. It's not it's the whole mechanism of review and processes that we've put in place. It's a work in progress, but we are slowly getting there. And I think it is incumbent of any citizen, if you see something wrong, report it, say it, and action will be taken. Thank you. What's the second?
Level of engagement with the Indian government.
Oh, Indian government is not my area. I cannot. I think somebody can.
Justice answered already. There'll be maybe also in Mandinka.
On the Indian government, not the details, but like I said, I've been informed that a delegation have been, a special mission have been approved by the president for a while. Well, this is bilateral, so the mission is being prepared. It has been on for a while, since the time of the former foreign minister. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is working on having the mission cleared from the other end, and then the bilateral mission will be undertaken, a high-level mission will be taken to India.
Thank you. Thank you. Last set of questions?
To me, I can stay or I can sit. Your question? Well, I'm not the chair. Who do you give?
The mic? Where's the mic? Take the mic. What's the name, media organization?
All right, my name is Lamiti. I work with the WFP Center. At the same time, I am also the national coordinator for the Consumer as well. So my question is in regards to my group prison center. Being one of the inmates that I say, I'm sorry, the 23 inmates that we bailed not long ago. I have some serious questions that I want to ask. I'm not sure if the interior minister is here.
He is not, but I can step in.
That will be fine as well. The question is, part of the 2016 campaign promises was one of the major ones. Part of those 2016 promises were the reform of our prison system. So me being a press inmate coming from my group, who witnessed the inhumanly behaviors and the situation that my fellow inmates were going through, I would like to understand and know why has it took almost 8 good years without reforming that place. One, when most of these government officials have passed through that same situation and they knew about it, they have on several occasions remained there and then visited the place and know how inhumanly that place is. Because you will not even put a dog, like a dog I mean, in that place where they dogless of like putting like your people youth for almost years and all that. And part of the complaint that we receive from some of these inmates are some of them have been there for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years without having the opportunity to face a magistrate to know what they have paid. So you, the Minister of Justice, I think I would like you to delve into that and then give us reasons why one, the reform is not being effective. Two, and the reason why our brothers and sisters have been kept, like I said, in that inhumane situation for years without having that their basic rights which are to them. That is facing magistrate or a judge to understand their fee. So this is the question that I want you to delve into, and it's a very personal question to me. Like I said, I'm just coming from that place less than a week.
Thank you. Thank you.
So basically, this is not a he say or she say. I'm telling you, this is what I face, and this is the situation in my group. So can you please delve into that? Respectfully, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me take it from where you landed.
One final question.
Not disputing that somebody might have told you. I'm not disputing what somebody might have told you in the prison. But I'm disagreeing that there is anybody in that prison that is there for years without going to magistrate court or court. And I'm giving you the reasons. We have regular prison visits. And then we make sure that the remanded prisoners, their cases may be slow, but for a year, 2 or 3 without appearing before the court, we would definitely, I'd be more than happy to receive if you remember the names of those prisoners. No, it's okay. We can take this dialogue further because that is a serious thing. We will take note of that and we will address those ones immediately. But that will be very surprising to me that somebody will be in prison for even a year without appearing before court if you are a remanded prisoner, right? So we can deal with that if you're able to remember any one of these things. Oh yes, we will deal with those ones. Because we have a regular prison visits. Even the Director of Public Prosecution, the Gambia Bar Association, regularly visits the prisons to take note of those cases and make sure we partner with the judiciary. Not long ago, even the judiciary organized a prison visit with the bar and my office to go and look at those cases and make sure how do we expedite their cases. It's absolutely wrong. It cannot be excused. So we will be very interested to know about those ones so that we can deal with them quickly. The prison's conditions is bad. We don't even argue that. Terrible, whatever you give it, especially for you who came. But this was a strong recommendation of the TRRC as well, prisons reform, and is accepted by government. I don't know whether you watched the Ministry of Interior's turn at the Mansakunda. Was it last week or week before? They have extensively dealt with this issue. The responses are in the YouTube. Already we have a plan for a brand new prison. Part of the funds have already been secured. Land has been secured, and work will commence very soon. So it's a priority. Like I said, it has always remained a priority. But again, the same processes. But as we speak at the moment, the site is secured. Plan have been brought to cabinet, which has been endorsed. And I think more than half of the funds required to start the work have also been secured. So work will start soon so that Mile 2 prisons will completely be closed down.
Thank you. Final question.
Final? Name, media organization?
I am deputy, sir. The point newspaper. The point newspaper. The Minister of Finance made mention that an investigation, police investigation will be carried out to establish the conflict of interest of the general manager of Dam Petroleum, and also an audit report by Pura within 60 days. I want to know when this countdown is commencing. Also, regarding the first protest of GALA, young people were arrested and released unconditionally. And recently, it has repeated itself. And those people were released unconditional, and these people were released on bail for committing the same offense. Why did the state choose to release these ones on bail?
That's last question. We'll answer. Justice? Justice?
It's over.
No, the question, who will answer? Who will answer? Justice?
There are two questions.
One is for you.
Yeah, no. Can you elaborate the first question?
About the Gam Petroleum MD?
Gam Petroleum.
Yes, two things, 2 points of clarity. Gam Petroleum, by law, is a private limited liability company. Recommendations from the government have to go through their governance structure. That means through their board. And that's what the report is actually insinuating. If he was a direct employee of the government could have taken direct action. But that is a point of clarification. And I think we will be transparent with you in this regard. Gam Petroleum being a limited liability company, of course, majority shareholders are owned by parastatals, which are government, but by form is a limited liability and it has its own board. So in such cases, even when the earlier crisis happened, all the work that was done through the board. You cannot ask government, go ahead and impose on a limited liability company your own course of action to take. So the recommendations have been communicated duly to the governance structure, and the timetable is for them to decide when they'll commence and how they'll proceed with that. Thank you.
The second question?
The question was why were the forced protesters released unconditionally and these ones released on bail? Who is the author of the question? I'm not too sure whether they're the same offense. The file hasn't reached me yet. It's still a law enforcement stage. I just will try to probably pass an answer. I'm not specific to the previous. Remember, this case at this stage is still at the interior level. It's law enforcement. it hasn't reached my office yet. But it's normal. That's this law enforcement discretion. You can release somebody on self-recognition. You can release somebody on other bail conditions. So it's perfectly okay. I don't know what informed the difference. I wouldn't know at this stage until the file reaches my office. But I can say it's not out of normal. It's not out of the ordinary. It's entirely the discretion of law enforcement.
Why is the police or the interior minister not here? I'm not asking a question because given the situation...
Oh, okay, I can answer.
Thank you very much. It has been a productive dialogue. Okay, thank you so much. It has been a productive session, and the government will continue to engage. We believe in dialogue and transparency, and will continue to engage. We'll take your inputs, your ideas. I would like to invite the Honorable Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Service, Dr. Ismail Assise, to give the closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'd also like to thank the honorable ministers, despite their busy schedule, because of the importance that we attach to these issues. That is why all these ministers came. And I thank them for coming and also for taking their time to respond to some of your questions. I also like to thank the GALA for coming and also for accepting our invitation to come, and also for being civil and also polite, and also for cooperating in asking questions in a manner that we expect in a democratic setting. Also to thank all government officials and members of the press, of course, because it's a press conference. We hope, or we wish we had more time to discuss. I have seen that people are still having questions. This is the importance of dialogue. We'll organize, I think the Minister of Youth discussed that yesterday, working on something to have a town hall. This is the way we can solve our problems. I don't think it should be about us, we and them. Like it's about us. We have a journey, a common journey. And this journey, our destinies are tied as people, as citizens. And I think if we don't dialogue, we will never understand each other. Perhaps me and Lamin C is my brother. He might be on the other side, venting, me venting. But if we sit and dialogue, we'll understand that we're all on the same page. So let us have that spirit. That should be the spirit going forward, like I said. I know the Public Order Act is a contentious issue. But like you said, the dialogue continues. Every country goes through a reform process. The desire you have to repeal it is the desire other citizens have to maintain it. There are citizens who think that we should maintain it because they believe that it will protect lives and property. No country in the world, no democracy in fact, even the UK, before you go out to protest, you have to notify the police so they can give the required security. It is legal. And if you don't do it, it's a criminal offense in the UK. You need to notify the Metropolitan Police if you want to go out and protest in London. So the Public Order Act is not here to censor or to infringe on people's right to come out and demonstrate. Demonstration is part of political participation. We want people to come out and exercise that right. But in the exercise of that right, the police has to know about it so they can protect you. The right you have to come out to protest is the right somebody else has a right to come and counter-protest. Now, if the police is not aware, and two groups meet and protest, and there is destruction of life and property, who's going to take the blame? The police, because they are responsible for the protection of life and property. So, the Public Order Act is a law for now. Let the dialogue continue to see what we can do, either to repeal it or to amend it, so that nobody loses, so that citizens' rights are respected, but public order is maintained. We have to find that balance. So the dialogue will continue, like I said. As a government, we are committed to listening to the concerns and voices of young people. In fact, every citizen. We've now extended the olive branch that before we take to the streets to demonstrate in anger, engage first. Where we did not listen to your engagements and your concerns, or we expressed nonchalance, then you could say we've exhausted all possible peaceful means of engaging with government. Now we are going to the streets. Then you have a justification for it. But every small thing, within 24 hours we are going to the streets. It is not going to solve anybody's problem. So now going forward, we have opened the gates for engagement. and we are ready to engage with all young people in this country. If you have a concern, let us engage and discuss about it. On that note, I thank you all. This is very fruitful. We'll be having these engagements once in a while so that the public, we understand, public have concerns, and I think we're all on the same page, like I said. We're not enemies, we're not on the different divide. We all want the same thing for the country. All we want, all of us here, is a developed, transformative Gambia. And I think all of us should work together to make that happen. On that note, I thank you all. And Mansakunda is tomorrow. Today, tonight, we have Ministry of Basic Education coming to discuss the education sector. Anybody who is available, you are invited to attend. Thank you. Oh, the police, yes, it's unfortunate that they are not here, but your concerns will be raised, and then me and you will have that private conversation. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you.